What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. The purpose of this video is to discuss the long-term prospects. I shouldn't even say long-term, just the am I lagging? It looks like I'm lagging a little bit. Whatever, maybe I'm lagging. If the words don't match up with the mouth, just listen to the words, don't listen to the mouth. Or maybe, I don't know, if you can read lips and you can't hear well. All I'm trying to talk about, damn it, is that we are going to talk about the end of cycle prospects for XRP. Not the long-term stuff. Long-term is like 10 years. I'm talking about like 10 months, right? Probably the end of cycle stuff. When is the end of the cycle? Nobody knows. I'm thinking it'll probably be, if not the end of this year, like the very, very end of this year, 2025, December, then likely sometime in, I'm thinking like early or mid Q2, somewhere in there. But it could be Q1 as well, 2026. We'll see. But that's the purpose of this video, is to discuss the long-term aspects, what my all-time high expectations are for XRP this cycle. So if that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it, you guys. All right, here we are. Looking at this here, we're going to use a few different methods to do this here, and I actually need to adjust my laptop here, make sure that it's good. Bitcoin's coming back up a little bit. XRP to BTC, that's what we want. We want the XRP BTC chart, if it will load, and it will load. You just got to be patient with it. That's what you get having some slow internet. XRP Binance, is that what we want? Is that enough time? Let's see. Let's go on the monthly time frame. See what that offers. As long as we have last cycle's high to low, I think we'll be okay. But I do want the history. I think that's good. That's a good history. Dating back to 2014, that's more than enough. Okay, cool. Thank you, Binance, for having a good record. Okay, so typically, I guess I'll start off with the same spiel I normally give whenever it comes to cryptos that have been around for multiple cycles. Typically, whenever you see a all-time high, your bull market high to a bear market low, typically you go somewhere between the 1618 to the 2272, okay? And most of the time, it's not even in between this area. It's either the 1618 or just above the 2272. Typically, you do go just above the 2272 if you interact with this area, and that's exactly what you did. You went just above there. I'm not just saying that because I saw that, right? I would have, even if I didn't draw this, I would have said those exact same words. Bitcoin does it. XRP does it. All cryptos do this exact same interaction with the 2272. You even found a little bit of resistance here at the 1618. Now, you did not last cycle stop at your 1618 or your 2272, but you didn't see new all-time highs. This is if you see new all-time highs, right? You're going to see new all-time highs now. So the range that I would give you then would be between the 1618 and the 2272. Let's use our brains. XRP is probably not going to go to $251 by the end of the cycle. Over time, sure, it's a deflationary asset. Over time, yes, it will. Absolutely. Versus the dollar, yeah, it's going to be worth $251 at some point in history, okay, as long as it doesn't blow up and something bad doesn't happen to it, if it maintains relevance and stuff like that, a competitive edge in crypto, it'll definitely get there at some point. But this cycle, probably not. So we're going to nix the 2272 idea. So what are we left with? The 200 to the 1618. Okay, $100 XRP. That's a lot, you guys. That's over $1 trillion. It could happen though. It could very well happen. And I think if you don't believe that could happen, you're selling yourself short automatically. So let's stick with this idea of $27 to $99. And I'm going to just tell you right now off the bat, I don't think we stop at $27. That to me seems too low. Let's run those numbers real quick though, right? What is a $27 price for XRP? Well, from the current price up to there, that's about an 8.8x. Okay, what's XRP done already this cycle? If we take a low here, no, that's not from this bear cycle. Sorry, this is the bear cycle. From a low to a high, you've already seen a 10x. The average altcoin, in case you're not aware, has done something on the lines of like a 4x. And actually we can pull that up real quick. Let's just do others real quick. We can do that. Look that up. It's gonna load so slow. Oh, it didn't load slow. That's nice. Ah ha ha. It tricked me. I was gonna say it's because I said it was gonna load slow that it didn't, but then I jinxed it by saying it didn't load slow. From a bear market low to where we are now, the average altcoin is up almost a 4x, not even a 4x. So I misspoke. Almost a 4x. Okay. I'm going to put it back to the XRP BTC chart. So XRP is at a 10.7x right now from its bear market low to where it is now. The average altcoin is not even at a 4x yet, okay? They've seen over a 4x this cycle, but they're not even at a 4x right now, where XRP is at a 10.7x. is a coin that's been outperforming the average coin in the markets in the top 125, because that's what the other chart is, the top 125 coins. Is it going to now underperform the average altcoin? Is a coin that not only has been outperforming, but has been in a multi-cycle long consolidation phase that beat the SEC. The SEC lawsuit is dropped. They're available across various exchanges, not just crypto exchanges, but stock exchanges too. There's companies, institutional companies that are actually investing in XRP, that are backing it. It is a crypto reserve of the United States of America, and it's probably going to be a crypto reserve, or it's going to have reserve status of other countries as well. Is a coin like that going to underperform the average altcoin? I doubt it. I really doubt it. Okay, I highly doubt it. You would have had me doubting it alone with the idea that you've been in a multi-cycle long consolidation phase and you've just broken out of it, right? Any person with the brain would be able to tell you that you're not stopping here. No, that's not where you're stopping. Not by the end of this cycle. Hell no. So understand, anybody calling for $27 or less by the end of the cycle, they're crazy. They're mad people. But at a pessimistic level, okay, we'll consider it. But this is too crazy to the upside. This is too crazy to the downside. There's really only one area left to go. This is refining our search phenomenally. And we're going to do more stuff to validate this area, okay? $67 to $100. Now, $100 is a lot. That's a lot. We'll do some math real quick in a second, but $100 is a lot of money, you guys. That you're going to be worth, I think, would that be multiple trillions? It would definitely be well over $1 trillion at that point, okay? But I think everything that I just described about XRP, that's not even the fundamental stuff. That's just some good things that have been happening over the past year and a half or 3 years now. There's so many good things going on with XRP that absolutely you could see these kind of levels. Okay, $100 psychological resistance, maybe you get there. I'm thinking you stop a little bit lower. My personal guess is that you're going to be somewhere in between $67 and $99. I like that $70 area, but we're gonna do the math real quick. Okay, so let's look at XRP here. XRP's market cap is let's say $91 billion, $191 billion. Okay, let's do Google calculator. And then I'm going to turn the computer down a little bit so that it's not so loud, because some people don't like that. I don't like it either, but it just helps the charts run better. I can, anybody can change your speed, your optimization of your performance on your computer. At least I think you'd be able to. I don't know. I would assume that you'd be able to. Anyways, I'm getting distracted on things that don't matter. $191 million or billion dollars. Okay, so let's just say 191 billion. Okay, if XRP were to see a price of $100, okay, 100. Let's go to 100 exactly, or at least as close to 100 as we can. Let's see, get it right there, $100.47. Is that fair? Let's put it right at the price that it's at right now on at least the crypto charts. This is an average index. That would be a 31x, almost a 32x. Now, let's just round up and say 32x. Okay, so the average altcoin is projected to do a 20 to 23x. XRP to get to $100, that put it at a 32x almost. That's outperforming the average coin. It's been outperforming the average coin. It'll continue to outperform the average coin. Okay, that makes sense a little bit. What about here? What about at a minimum? The average altcoin is expected to do a 20 to a 23x. That's a 21x. That's right there in the middle of average. You've been outperforming the average altcoin. Between now and the end of the cycle, you'd keep up with the average altcoin, and you're in the top 10. You're in the top 5 even. You're the third highest crypto as far as market cap dominance goes. Okay, I could see that too. I think $67 as a standard, $100 as a maximum, I think we really nailed it on the head, right? If you missed my altcoin video that I made recently talking about the maximum potential, what to expect from altcoins, and how to avoid disappointment, you should look that up. I made it like a couple days ago. Maybe I'll post a link in a pinned comment or something like that if I remember, but I'm probably not going to remember, so I don't know. But if you know what I'm talking about, the average altcoin, we did a video where we're projected that the average altcoin will do a 20 to a 23x, and this, I think, is at least a good minimum standard for XRP. Above $100, that'd be pretty crazy, but let's run the numbers real quick, okay, guys? Let's run the numbers. So 21x times 191 billion. That would give you that's a $4 trillion market cap, okay? So a lot more than $1 trillion. Wow, it's a $4 trillion market cap. That's a lot of cheddar, man. That is an absolute behemoth of cheddar right there. Bitcoin's at $2 trillion. To be completely fair, I think that by the end of the cycle, Bitcoin itself will be worth 10 trillion or more. So I could definitely, and then at the height of the cycle, it's not that XRP will maintain that kind of market cap, right? It's going to be like your cycle peak. So I could see it happening. Peak mania phase, absolutely, I could see it happening. $100 though, which was a 32x. We take that 191 times 32 is basically 32. $6 trillion. Okay, so that's a bit crazy. That's a bit crazy to me, at least. $6 trillion, $6.1 trillion. Bitcoin gets to 10 trillion. I don't know about that, man. That's pretty damn crazy. I mean, XRP starts seeing those kind of market caps. What's Ethereum going to be at? You know what I mean? Like that's pretty crazy. So I don't know about $100 so much. I've talked myself out of thinking that $100 is going to happen. I'll tell you what, if Bitcoin goes to prices that are well above $500,000, we see well above a $10 trillion market cap, maybe we hit $1 million this cycle, then I could see XRP going to $100. But I don't know if you're going to achieve more than 50% market cap value versus Bitcoin, right? Let's look at that now, right? Running with this idea. So XRP to BTC, 50% market cap value, right? That would, well, this is not versus in market cap, is it? It's versus US dollars. So what would, how do we do that? We could do the market cap. Let's just, we'll run these numbers and see what we come up with, okay? It's not as simple as what I was just about to do or as what I was thinking, but that's okay. We don't need to do it in the market cap. We can do it in the US dollar price. We can still work out some numbers. So I want to look at this chart here and just point out that XRP to BTC, again, this is the price, this is the chart priced in Bitcoin value, not US dollar value. US dollar value, XRP is worth $3.13. Bitcoin value, it's worth 0.000026 Bitcoins, right? That's what it's worth. So here on this chart, you clearly have been finding resistance basically at this area, at this exact area now since 2019, since late 2019. You've been held down by this area's resistance, okay? Out of all of these moments in time, you know, you've come up, you found resistance, and you moved down. You came up, you found resistance, and you moved down. You came up, you found resistance, and you moved down. Resistance here and down, resistance here and down. And here you found some resistance, but look at this. You're consolidating in this area, and you're even actually coming back for more in a very short amount of time, record time, coming back up to this area. You're doing a little dance. You're doing things differently. Different behavior begets different results. At least that's what I like to say. That's my opinion. And with different results, what might that mean? Well, if every time we did this before we went down, I think the different result this time would be that we go up. So the next question to ask, the first question is, are we going to reject this area? I think we answered that question. I mean, we kind of have, but we're not going to. No, we're probably going to break through it. The next question is, where are we going to go? This area that we've been consolidating in for almost 6 years. Where are we going to go? We finally break above an area that we just consolidated under for 6 years. Are we going to stop right here? Are we going to stop just above it or less? Or, you know, like that's probably not going to happen. We're probably going to break through. It's a 6 year long area that we've been held down by. XRP's got all kinds of good things going for it this cycle that I never had any other cycle, plus all the good things that I had any other cycle. Where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? That's the next question. So looking back in time, again, are we going to go just above this trend line at these areas of resistance, at this area of support? I don't think so. That to me just sounds too light, too cheap. Not exactly, no. So where's the next logical area? Let's do a monthly high close here. We'll do a monthly high on the wicking basis here. And then just for funsies, we'll go all the way up, okay? We'll go all the way up to our all-time high area. And let's throw this one in too. So we've got 4 targets. Something between about 30766 to 40766 to 3023. Something in between that area. We don't have to stop at any of these lines, but I think we can apply any of these lines to get a idea of where XRP will be by the end of the cycle. Now, I'm running with the idea, again, that Bitcoin achieves a $10 trillion market cap this cycle and effectively sees, and maybe even a little bit above there, because I think you would get a little bit above there at $500,000, but it effectively will achieve a $500,000 price by the end of the cycle, sometime in early 2026. Early Q2, mid Q2 is what I'm thinking, but it could be Q1, right? This cycle will be... C-Zar, you know what you're saying? You're saying that this is going to be the longest bull cycle that's ever existed. It already is. Absolutely, it's going to be the longest bull cycle that's ever. You guys, we're in the institutional cycle. We haven't had a blow off top moment. We have not rallied the way crypto rallies. We've been moving up, moving sideways for months, moving up, moving sideways, not for months, for half a year or more. We've been very constructive. And when I learned technical analysis about 9.5 years ago, the first thing that ingrained in my head that I learned was long, constructive, stair-stepping consolidation phases prolong the cycle's life, the bull cycle's life. And that's exactly what we've had. So yes, we are going, it's the institutional cycle. We're stair-stepping. We are seeing phenomenal consolidation. Yes, this cycle is going to continue into 2026. Absolutely. It took me a while to get there. You guys, for years, I was under the impression that we would be ending in 2025. I told myself, I ingrained it in my head, I am not, no matter what circumstance, no matter how bullish the market is, I'm not going to change my bull market time frame from the end of 2025 to sometime in 2026. But the thing is, it hasn't been a very bullish market. It's been a very tame market. That's the only circumstance. It's the only circumstance I didn't consider, but it's the only circumstance that actually logically allows for somebody to extend the market. If we're so bullish, we're just ripping and running and we're nonstop euphoria, that is not a good circumstance to be in. We're not in that. We haven't had a taste of that yet this cycle. But we're about to. We're getting the good stuff. Let's move on from that thought. I'm just trying to validate the idea that Bitcoin goes to $500,000 by the end of the cycle. That's my opinion. Where will XRP be when Bitcoin's at $500,000? Well, if we take this price in Bitcoin and we apply that, which is 407662, okay? 40, is it 77? Oh, damn it. 7662. 407662. So that's its price in Bitcoin. We multiply that by the price of Bitcoin, which would assume to be $500,000. And let's assume Bitcoin and XRP don't top off at the same time, because typically they don't actually. If Bitcoin tops off at 500K, XRP tops off within a month after that. Maybe Bitcoin's at 460K. Okay, is that fair? I think that's fair. Right, 460K, right there. I don't think Bitcoin's going to like demolish itself, but it'll probably come down a little bit, right? 10 to 20%. That's fine. It's a $35 price. Okay, $35 price. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. But if we put this high to low here from the last cycle, not just the overall high to low of this consolidation phase, $35 price, it's actually pretty close to this 2618. Pretty close. And we're on the lower end of things. We're literally on the lower end of things. So let's work our way up, okay? Instead of 00007662, let's do, what was it? 4 zeros, 9272. 9272. And we'll put these prices in, right? What was that last price? We'll put all these prices in. $35. Let's do this. Let's delete everything, and we'll just start putting lines in here, okay? White lines. Glorious white lines of glory. $35. All right, I'm going to leave that white line there. Nobody touch it. 409272. Let's multiply it by the same price, 460K. All right, that's 460K. Gives us a $42 price. Now I feel like we're getting somewhere. Getting somewhere here. Okay, $42 price. Something like that. And yes, we're off by like a few cents, but who cares? If you care, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to adjust it. Oh, hey, that's actually pretty close though. That's actually pretty close. 301175. So this price now times again 460, and maybe it's 480. Maybe XRP tops off at the exact same time that Bitcoin's at 500K. Maybe Bitcoin goes above 500K. I'm just trying to keep it to where it's realistic, but still on the conservative effect, okay? Realistic, but conservative. I don't want to be, I feel like I am being moon boyish here, but I don't want to be too moon boyish. It's only moon boyish because we're talking about something that's worth $3 being worth more than $40 potentially, right? Like on the low end of things, it's more than $40. Anyways, let's continue. 460K. Okay, that's 460,000 there. $54. We're getting somewhere good. We're getting somewhere real fast here, you guys. 54. Oh, I was right there. 54.40. It's a little bit higher, but whatever. We'll keep that line, okay? And then last but not least, all the way up, man. And let's just see if this makes sense too. 22968. I want to be very specific. Times 460. Okay. It's 105. So probably not. Probably we do not see our all-time high area versus Bitcoin this cycle. Okay, probably not. That's probably not what we're going to see. XRP to BTC, okay, high to low. High to low. Do we have any fibs that line up with these areas, okay? There's actually a fib. Our 786 lines up just below and pretty well with these areas of resistance, actually, right in between these like second and third targets here, the secondary and tertiary targets, right? So something that would have been where on the price chart here. that would have been somewhere between $42 and $54, something between $42 and $54. Do we have any fib levels that make sense of that from the last cycle's high to low? $42 and $54. We got one right there at $43, right? And again, this might not be perfect. I'm running with the idea that it's at 460K. What if XRP tops off with Bitcoin's at 420K? You know, that would push this price up to that 786 and maybe give it that same US dollar price. I'm just saying that could happen, right? What if we go all the way up to the 886, right? That's something at 30152. 30152, let's try that. 30152 multiplied by that 460K area. That's $70 right there. And $70 is actually pretty damn close to this 2886 up here, which is in an area that I like to call the money zone. So out of all these lines here, right, if you notice, out of all these on the XRP USD chart that we've plotted, a lot of them are actually between the 2618 and the money zone here. We've got 4 of them, whereas only 1 is below it. And that's our low end of the spectrum. That's the very low-lying fruit. Now, the one conniption here is that I did start the video by saying oftentimes you go to the 1618 to the 2272. But I hope that I've made sense as to why I don't think we stop there. We're going to see a 6 to 7x by the end of the cycle? I don't think so. I don't think so, guys. That's not what's happening. So the only other area besides that would then be this glory zone here at the 2618 to the 3113. Where's XRP going to stop by the end of the cycle? I have little clue. I don't know. But what I can tell you is if we take our given targets that we've calculated so far, we have $35, $42, $54, $71, $105. All areas that make sense based on where the XRP BTC points of resistance are and based off of the Fibonacci retracements, okay? Significant levels that you'd probably go to, right? You're not going to stop at the golden ratio. I mean, maybe you stop there momentarily, but you're not going to stop there. You didn't spend all this time consolidating below here just to stop here at the golden ratio of this high to low, which has no significance on the price to XRP to BTC. At least it doesn't make sense to me that you'd stop there. Where's the next logical area? The 786 or the 886, areas that you actually do have some resistance at. You're probably not going to stop at 35. You're probably not going to stop at 105. So with that, we do have a little bit of help in this range. Something between $42 and $71. And let's even say 72 because that's where the 2886 is there, okay? To me, I feel like it makes a whole lot of sense, right? That is probably where we're going to go. And if we take this high to low here, we throw on a little bit more sensibility here, if I can, if it'll let me. Come on, man. Come on, there we go. Let's see. And we zoom in here. Oh, nope, sorry. Let's delete this fib now, and we'll delete the box too, because that was the last cycle's fib. This is the overall consolidation phase's fib. These two lines, 71 and 105, they line up in this area where it makes the most sense as far as fibs go. So the only thing is that was 2 cycles ago. So is this all-time high going to be relevant to this fib still? I'd like to think so because it is so relevant to this consolidation phase, which even though it's 2 cycles ago, is still relevant, I think, even into today's price. We'll see. We'll see. And if that's the case, we just really made a solid case for XRP to go to $71 by the end of the cycle, you guys. $70, $69, whatever, right, by the end of the cycle. Something near that 1886, but just above, which again would give us a market cap of about $4 trillion, guys. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. And that would keep you on par with the average coin's performance by the end of the cycle. To me, it makes a lot of sense, actually, that you would go to that area. But just because it makes sense doesn't mean you have to do that. Okay, you could. I think a good minimum is that $42 area, a good minimum. And why is that a good minimum beyond just being the $42 area? It's also because if you take last cycle's high to low, you're at the 2618. The only next target after that, really, I don't think 54 makes sense to me. I'm going to delete the ones that don't make sense to me. 54, 100. Sorry for the perma bulls out there, the moon boys. But really, this $42 to $71 target area makes the most sense. We've got fibs that line up there. We've made sense out of it with the XRP BTC chart and doing our math and the projected outcome of where Bitcoin will be. $42 to $71, somewhere in that area. That's where I think XRP will be by the end of the cycle. I don't have anything else that I want to say. All I can say is you look very bullish on your monthly time frames. All your indicators look phenomenal. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I really do appreciate you all for being here. Thank you very much. I hope you had a good time. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.